Right, because the Crown Vic has a little bit of a tappity tap, tap tap, tappity tap 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 situation going on in the engine, where something is making contact that it shouldn't be, I have wanted to get one of these forever. Now, this company does not sponsor the show in any way whatsoever. I just bought this off Amazon. It's a boroscope. So we're gonna pull a plug and shove this down and see if we can see any markings like on the top of the piston and stuff like that. Because one theory Volvo Yoda had when he put his Ford head on was that the big end bearings, basically you've got the top half, which is, you know, the conrod and piston are like that, and then you have a bottom half that goes like that, and this is the crank. Now what he thinks happened is maybe the bottom half spun around and stacked itself probably underneath this top half, thus making the piston and conrod on top taller and making it touch the head. Now if it is touching the head, we will be able to see, because there will be, like, you know, clean marks and rubbing and all that kind of stuff. That is definitely small enough to go down a plug hole. Question: should I be worried when I need a breaker bar to take the plug out? I can sense that can labelled worms being opened slowly. Well, so far there's good and bad news. All the boots came off in various different forms. Sometimes with the boot, with the coil, sometimes with the spring, sometimes without the boot. Everything was relatively different, as if people didn't put electrical grease on for care and longevity. So soaked all of the 4 plugs with WD, now hoping I don't have to break out a breaker bar to get the plugs out. Breaker bar it is then. Delightful. Okay, breaker bar was used and we were successful, but the previous person who changed plugs in this should know that the head bolt torque settings are not the same as the spark plug torque settings. Now they've all got electrodes on, so that's good. It's a start. Now, obviously it's only one bank. Let's see if the camera thingy works. We are the day after, and these boots have been, those 2 buggers there have been soaking in WD all night. So I'm taking the battery off, which obviously I should have done first, and I'm going to stick a screwdriver down and see if I can just pry them away from the plugs and try and take the plugs out. And there we have remnants of the spark plug coil pack plug boot massacre. So these are the 2 welded in ones, and I'm assuming these are the 2 cylinders that get or got the hottest. So this should be interesting, having a look in these. Guess I'm going to have to order some boots. So there was no real standout marks or anything like that on the pistons. So that's that done. Electrodes are all on. That's that. What I'm going to do now is get the car up on ramps and drop the oil. Let's see if there's any bits in the oil. While I'm down there, I can have a look at the torque converter bolts as well, see if there's anything catching down there. I don't think there's anything that isn't leaking. Everything's leaking. Okay, so both of the drain pans are perfectly clean. There's nothing in them at all. It's kind of like silvery. I think that's bearing material in there, methinks. We've definitely got a little bit of admin to do on this car. There's literally nothing that isn't completely bathed in oil. Wonder what all that blue stuff is around there. Probably some sealant at some point in the car's life. Missing exhaust bolts. Okay, so we're gonna put it in neutral, turn it over slowly, and let's see if we can see some touchy in there. While I'm waiting for that to put some charge into that so I can get that in neutral, let's chop some frame. As you can see, now I've lifted it up, it's wedged itself into the fence, so let's chop it off. Well, I suppose it wasn't the most compelling thing in the world, but I completely forgot to record it. Anyway, chop done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can categorically exclaim that it is not the torque converter bolts. They are all just fine. Well, time for engine out. have actually been working pretty hard, but I didn't want to film. Not in the mood. But hopefully the engine's coming out right now. The O2 sensor may have been hooked on the steering shaft, and I may have been lifting the car up with the O2 sensor and the steering shaft. I don't really have time to be on the engine today, but the suspense is killing me, so we shall find out together what's in there. And I was going to turn the engine upside down to take the sump off, but I got told off a very good friend, Turbo Joe, no, take the sump off down, then if anything is in the sump, it doesn't get dropped into the engine. Good point. This right here, by the way, is the unit I like to change for the civilian unit. I'm not going to mess around with a oil cooler or oil leaker, should we say. I still can't believe the level of oil leaks this engine has. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Really? Oil filter off? God! Come on! This is really dirtying up my white, pristine, sealed workshop floors. It's really affecting my Formula One status. The oil surrounding the bolt heads is kind of like a lot of places deeper than the bolt head. Makes them difficult to find. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's really clean, really clean. Of course we have some wiring in the way, obviously. Oil pan, spotless, spotty dog. What? This is gonna whip over. really expecting to have seen something really obvious by now. Nothing in the oil pickup. Not even a chain guide in the oil pickup, which I fully expect every time. So let's see if any of these bad boys rattle. I can like move them. The Volvo Yoda was expecting play in these. Some kind of play. Now I've never done this before. So I am clueless right now. Obviously, after all this, it will have been transmission. If any of you guys see anything, shout out. I don't know why I'm saying gay at finding a catastrophic engine failure, but I found it. See it? Knockety knock, knock, knock. Oh, I'm really excited to take this off and see what's inside. Right, I'm going to have you guys along for as much of the ride as possible. Oh, now, the question now is, what does the crank look like? Half of you are gone, what? You're thinking of fixing the engine? Who the hell knows? Oh, wow. Wow. This is something I've never seen before because I've never been in an engine before. Wow. Oh my God, that's insane. That's insane. That's insane. So like the bearing has worn out to the point where it's slipped under. How interesting that. I wonder if they, you know what, I wonder, no, the oil was dirty. Unless they put dirty oil back in it. Because where's the bearing gone? Like, you know, you would expect it to be metal filings or something. How tough a Ford crank's gonna be. It's feeling a bit rough. A bit of emery paper. Yay! One out. Just don't fall down. Do not fall down. Woo! There we go. There we go. They're not really the suspects. They are the guilty party. So yeah, so they've been stacking each other every rotation or so. Or no, not every rotation, but yeah. So anyway, there's the crank. That's the surface there. Obviously with my gouge, because I'm a dick. Now, I'm going to pull this one, because I have no idea what a crank should look like. And I'm assuming this one's going to be good. Or better than that, at least. So that's the next one along, which itself is terrible. Just picked up in a ton of places. But the difference in the crank surface, I don't know if you can see the ridge and the wear. Like that dip down there is so considerable. Like this is smaller diameter than that. And this is probably heavily worn as well. That's crazy, it's so far down. Oh, wow. So there we go. We know the culprit, we know the cause, we know the guilty subjects in this story. Now, how are we going to move forward? No idea. Thanks for watching. See you next time.